You should be ashamed of yourself.
You know what these numbers mean. Bronny James is averaging 0.3 points.
Like, relax. Like, seriously, just...
You're out of your damn mind with this one.
I'm considered one of the most annoying people in television. Why do you think that is?
He legit spit. He legit spit.
So I certainly can't.
You know what it's going to do.
Is ESPN failing us? Well, here's a quote from one of its employees. That's pandering. It's all pandering. Let me be clear, our business is a piece of shite a lot of days. Michael Wilbon, thank you. ESPN's highest paid employee is currently confusing living people for dead people.
And it's a hell himself, the late, great Nolan Richardson, God rest his soul. I am fully aware that Nolan Richardson is alive, okay? Trust me,
On another network, Good Morning Football has one remaining host from its original 4, and it's a shell of its former glorious self, and ESPN is its beneficiary.
Today is my last day on Good Morning Football.
Around the Horn will be gone after May, and ESPN becomes a one-trick pony once the NFL season ends.
Because LeBron James.
I doubt LeBron and Jordan will ever have much relationship. I can't see the future.
Greatest player of all time is still LeBron James in my eyes.
After LeBron retires,
that conversation's loud.
Super dope.
Stay off the weed.
Dope.
And I have no desire to be a congressional figure or a senator.
Are you surprised by this?
March Madness was coming to a conclusion. The NBA season still had playoff seeding up in the air. And the biggest NBA story for weeks appeared to be whether or not LeBron James attended Kobe Bryant's funeral after Stephen A. Smith and LeBron James had a heated chat courtside. A month ago, ESPN has $100 million for Stephen A. Smith, but no budget for a single unique or creative or thought-provoking sports show? Well, they do, but they are murdering it.
And one of the people that we always saw was Woody Page. And whether you loved him or hated him, you always tuned into this show to see what that man was going to say. That also goes for those of you watching at home.
The overall sports media landscape is rich. It's filled with great reporters and analysts, creators here on YouTube, although I can't think of any, podcasters chugging along stronger than ever. There's one big flaw, though, that the most powerful company, ESPN, has yet to figure out. The place with the most money is still producing an endless chain of shit for us to consume in their daytime TV slots.
I expect the leaders to be and set an example.
Has corporate sports media reached peak stupidity? Or are we just seeing the worst of it on a daily basis because of social media? Today, I'll try and answer that. Here on That's Good Sports. It's in the name. Don't forget to subscribe. And if you do, I'll comb my hair. Look. Underdog sponsoring this show. I hit on my basketball picks. Am I a basketball savant? Yes. And if you trust in me, sign up at Underdog with my code ThatsGood if you want to play daily fantasy or in pick'em games. Look, we are 334 signups away from 6,000 total signups on Underdog. You guys have done that with my code, with my link. If we get to 6,000 signups, I get a $60,000 bonus. Real fucking money. And that money is going to be shared with Will Keys, who helps write every video you see here, and Johnny Barks, who helps edit every video you see here. And we got another new editor starting to help us out. It's because of sponsorships like this that we can help grow this channel and continue to make really good videos as frequently as we do. So your support means the world to me. If we can get to that 6,000 sign up number by the draft, we will be cooking. Now, there's a lot of very good sports coverage out there. I don't want to get it twisted. ESPN got it right by bringing in Pat McAfee, by keeping Mina Kimes, and Scott Van Pelt is still the pinnacle of sports talk as the host of SportsCenter. ESPN pulling Peter Schrager away from the NFL Network is a big win for their NFL coverage, even if ESPN eventually buys the NFL Network and Red Zone like it's expected. Schrager is probably the most well-rounded football personality in the business in terms of being an insider and presenting the information he does have in a meaningful way? Honestly, in my very humble opinion, it's him and Mina Kimes. And if they don't get a show together on ESPN, I fucking riot. A one-man riot, ESPN. Real quick though, let's check in on Good Morning Football over on the NFL Network.
So with the 5th overall pick in the Good Morning Football rapper draft, Kyle Brandt selects Nas.
Yeah.
Great. I actually think The Insiders on NFL Network with Ian Rappaport, Tom Pelissero, Mike Garafolo is a better show than Good Morning Football is right now. And The Insiders is a show that appears to have no budget. Just 3 reporters locked in their bedrooms until dad says they've earned the family enough money on their NFL live stream. But they have great chemistry, which is a big thing Good Morning Football is currently lacking. But I'll have another video about that show later. Even if he's not saying something profound, Shannon Sharpe is very entertaining.
Who you gonna put on Luka? Lou Dort? It don't matter. Divorce court, child support, Lou Dort. Nigga divide.
The thing that should scare ESPN is that Shannon's show, Nightcap with Ocho, is a lot better than First Take right now with Shannon Sharpe and Stephen A. Smith.
So do I. So you that's what Larry Bird said that man was Jesus. You're gonna give details. You're gonna forget it was against Bird.
Like The Insiders, it's cheaper, easier to produce, and the chemistry between just 2 men is perfect.
You know what's good about us is really understanding and realizing we're not the same as we were.
Yes!
We understand what we're capable of doing at our age now.
Now, I'm sure you are all well aware that ESPN is sent around the horn to hospice.
There it is, Woodrow.
Thank you, Harry.
I appreciate Woody. I appreciate all you guys. All right.
We love you, Woody.
That was another one.
That once iconic show will have its last air date in May. Here's the sad truth. We all love Around the Horn, and none of us watch it anymore. Why did the show die? Poor ratings? Sure. It died though because it's not ridiculous enough for today's sports media landscape. It doesn't have a second life after the show ends. It doesn't hit the social media share cycle. Having 4 sports journalists make decent or fair or level-headed points about any given topic for the day doesn't get people to click. The people on that show are journalists. They're professionals whose goal is to not say the dumbest shit possible, which unfortunately is a recipe for cancellation in today's society. My fear is that the long-running ESPN staple, pardon the interruption, will be on the chopping block next. And that will be a sad day because that show is an institution. When we look at the sad state of sports media on television, we only have ourselves to blame. That and the algorithm, right? The algorithm that feeds us just the worst of the worst because all of the good, sane discussions are not clippable, nor do they have any potential for virality. Virality. They don't have a chance to go viral is what I'm saying. Very few people actually watch ESPN or the Fox Sports daily shows in their entirety because people are busy, they work, right? They are typically background noise.
When you bring up the 70s, my era, when I grew up.
And as they try and cut through, they do so in poor attempts to be provocative. And they rob us of thought-provoking analysis or discussion.
Well, I would say to LeBron James, do you not know who these NBA players are?
I think what pisses us all off as genuine sports fans is that there's no excuse for that. The worldwide leader in sports has all of the resources, and it's up to pissants like me, Will, and Johnny to give you better videos. Michael Wilbon hit it on the head when he had this to say about ESPN's infatuation with discussing Bronny, the son of LeBron James, who's a fringe player on the Lakers, in case you didn't know.
And your son is being exposed. Bronny James, I hope he's an NBA player someday. I'm rooting for him.
The incessant discussion about Bronny led to the infamous LeBron, Stephen A. courtside interaction, altercation, whatever. But this is what Wilbon said. I have a 17-year-old son, so this matters to me. I am particularly sensitive to it. I'd do anything for my kid, and I would hug LeBron for what he did for his kid. There were shows that talked about Bronny every day. You know what shows I'm talking about. I don't care if my bosses get mad. They would try to get Tony and me to talk about it. No, We're not going to do it. They talked about him more than Shane Gilgeous-Alexander.
Shea Gilgeous-Alexander.
That's pandering. It's all pandering. Let me be clear. Our business is a piece of shit a lot of days. End quote. Thank you, Michael Wilbon. A piece of shit a lot of days? And we all love eating pieces of shit for breakfast, don't we?
You're in big trouble, though, pal. I eat pieces of shit like you for breakfast.
This is literally reporting. This is journalism, right?
Journalism.
The Gray Cowboy.
You eat pieces of shit for breakfast? No.
The cream rises to the top, but the pieces of shit also float to the top. And that's not just sports, that's any form of news or entertainment. We're infatuated with only the best or the worst, and we can now have our specific sports talks needs addressed in thousands of other places that are not ESPN's daily programming. The problem, which Wilbon mentioned, is the suits, the execs, the producers, the people whose jobs depend on ratings. They're trying to force guys like Wilbon and Kornheiser to talk about Bronny for those ratings, those views, those clicks, those clippable moments. Their success depends on it. ESPN should be focusing on adding quality shows, the kinds that will earn the respect of their viewers back, even if that means dealing with low ratings. Shows that focus on hitting every sports fan base out there instead of a constant dose of Lakers, LeBron, and failing New York football. A big reason the Pat McAfee show is crushing for ESPN and stands out compared to their other shows is Pat's blatant disregard for the suits.
Pat calls out his boss. I don't got a motherfucking boss.
It's Pat's show that simply also airs on ESPN. ESPN itself hasn't created anything great for a long time. It's found great talent, but it has fallen behind in terms of being innovative. And I think LeBron James and Stephen A. Smith is the pinnacle of ESPN's biggest issue. LeBron confronting Stephen A. came shortly after ESPN inked their 5-year, $100 million deal with Stephen A. Smith.
$100 million for 5 years.
Right.
True?
I'm not getting specific as it pertains to numbers because only a fool discusses his own negotiations while negotiating.
Is Stephen A. Smith the most overpaid person on planet Earth? No. That's probably the son of a bitch I hired to fix my wife's car. Stephen A., though, is arguably the most overpaid person in sports media. And after ESPN handed him $100 million, all we've received in return is an unbearable feud with LeBron James, Stephen A. Smith not knowing who is dead or alive, and an endless discussion about him running for fucking president.
That is a joke! You should be ashamed of yourself!
I hope he does run, and I hope Stephen A. wins in 2028 just so I don't have to listen to his terrible takes for 4 years.
Excuse me. If you're a king, why you worried about Kansas?
This is why he was running. This is why he was Excuse me.
You big goat. Stand on the bus.
Ascending.
And I say that as someone who actually likes Stephen A. Smith. I have great respect for him. When given time to know his subject, he's still the best. But that doesn't always happen because he's doing panels on Bill Maher opposite Jesse Eisenberg for some reason. Unless you're recapping games and highlights, I don't think most of the experts are qualified to talk about more than one sport.
Kyle Brandt is selecting Eminem and is thrilled about it.
I think you can be competent in 2 sports in terms of being able to talk about it on television, but it takes all of my energy and effort to just be knowledgeable about the NFL alone. Stephen A.'s aspirations have turned him into a walking meme. He's supposed to be an expert in basketball and football and the other sports ESPN covers, and now he wants in on politics. He's become a master of none, though. He's spread so thin, he can't even double check the obituaries.
I am fully aware that Nolan Richardson is alive. Okay, trust me. I apologize for that.
And I know he and Shannon Sharpe still deliver when they're on air together from time to time. Stephen A. does fill 2 hours every day on ESPN. That in itself is an art form. And I know only the worst of his takes make the rounds on social media. Yes, we are part of the problem for being drawn to that. ESPN is having these guys talk for 2 and 3 hours every fucking day, and the only thing that stands out are their mistakes or god-awful takes. Recently, something else happened, which was a stark reminder of the sports gruel
Sandwiches.
We are all force-fed like starving sports media prisoners.
Nothing but gruel. Plus, you can eat your own hair.
I'm talking about the Alex Ovechkin scoring record. Here's a masterclass on how the worldwide leader in sports can ruin one of the greatest achievements in NHL history by making it about LeBron James.
I can't take that away. More durable. Alex Ovechkin has been more durable than LeBron James over his career. Go look at the numbers.
Alex Ovechkin, though, broke Wayne Gretzky's record for the most goals scored in NHL history. A monumental feat, an achievement impressive on so many levels. To break a Wayne Gretzky record is akin to summiting Mount Everest in just a swimsuit and flip-flops. Ovechkin did it in the exact same amount of games played as Wayne Gretzky, which makes it really cool. It is probably the most impressive achievement in hockey in 30 fucking years, and ESPN's First Take decides the best way to discuss this achievement is by asking the question, who is more impressive, Alex Ovechkin or LeBron James?
6'9", I'm talking about the
Jordan's fine. You can't say Kobe. You can't say Kobe.
Well, yeah, I did. I put Kobe ahead of him. Kobe's ahead of LeBron.
Wrong sport, guys. Now, I understand they were comping LeBron's career points to Ovechkin's 895 career goals. There's nothing wrong with the comparing of achievements across sports. The problem is, this is a network that talks about LeBron James every single day. Every day! And in terms of longevity, I get it, LeBron, Tom Brady are the comps for Ovechkin, but can we just, for 1 second, keep the insane hockey record that doesn't need an assist from LeBron James about hockey?
Fair enough.
This Stephen A. Smith feud, though, with LeBron James got so dumb, LeBron himself, during the NBA season, went on Pat McAfee's show to explain his side of this bullshit. That episode did over 2 million views on Pat's YouTube channel. ESPN pounced on the opportunity to put LeBron on the network and not on Stephen A.'s show. The only clip that was shared, of course, was LeBron talking about Stephen A. Smith. It's the most popular clip they posted from that show as well. We eat the drama up. That's why they did it. The good news, the reason for hope, sports fans, the most rewatched part of that full interview was actually about LeBron James and sharing a moment of vulnerability.
Will he be one of the one-name guys that ever played this game? It was like, he was like, Wilt, Kareem, Magic, Bird, Jordan, all these first-name guys. Shaq. And then at the end, it was like, LeBron. And I'm like, fuck, I'm 17 years old. I was like, what the hell is this? Why you guys are giving me this already? It's like, I haven't done anything. And it's like,
the desire for something of substance is there. Unfortunately, it's now up to the viewer to find it on their own. And sometimes you have to look really hard. LeBron on McAfee was actually a good interview, but the reason he was there was stupid. The shareable part of that interview was dumb.
I didn't want to address it.
Yeah, sure.
I didn't want to address it. I wasn't going to address it. But since the video came out, I feel the need to address it.
Yeah, well, are you would be not to talk about it.
Are you kidding me? If there's one person that couldn't wait to the video to drop so you could address it, it's your ass. Like, seriously?
Because I had no intentions, Molly, of talking about this at all.
Yeah.
And the reason why is because it was a one-on-one, I wouldn't say a conversation, but it was a one-on-one confrontation.
Take it and you get personal with it. It's my job to not only protect my damn household, but protect the players.
LeBron also took some time in that interview to insult NBA insider Brian Windhorst, who has apparently always had a strong relationship with LeBron going back to high school. But now he's not even considered a Le friend.
Lindsay, you guys played together in high school.
Yeah,
right? He was on your high school.
This guy was like, says he's like my fucking best friend. These guys are just weird.
LeBron James going on Pat to shit on 2 ESPN hosts while on ESPN is wild, and I actually think that is great TV. But that's exactly why ESPN gave Stephen A. Smith $100 million. He said nothing of importance, and we received a month of discussion about it.
I suggest that he be happy with the things that I haven't brought up. I never brought up really and never really discussed why you were not at Kobe Bryant's memorial service.
ESPN fucked up by letting Dan Patrick go, Bill Simmons go, Skip Bayless go. They're trying to not make the same mistake. and ensure they keep Stephen A. Smith a ratings lightning rod on their network. ESPN's biggest whiff right now? Probably letting Barstool revive John Gruden's career as a TV personality. His quarterback camp is back, which started, of course, on ESPN, and it's infinitely more entertaining than ESPN's college football draft coverage right now.
What is this thing? Baby Merlin's Magic Sleep Suit. Because I've been doing some shopping on Amazon.
John Gruden, in just 2 episodes with his revamped QB show, has given us something far more valuable than Stephen A. Smith has in months. $20 million a year for what? Stephen A. runs a tired format that hasn't been improved upon in years, and while ESPN offers other, better shows, this is what we think of when discussing ESPN as a media company, even if that's not totally fair.
I never really brought up or discussed why you did not attend Dwayne Wade's Hall of Fame induction when that man was directly responsible for you capturing a championship for the first time in your career.
Is ESPN as a whole letting us down? Not really, because it's so massive, it produces so much sports content in the broadest sense that it offers something for everyone. But when it tells us Stephen A. is their absolute best talent via a very literal paycheck, and we don't even get Stephen A.'s best, which is arguably not even the best on the network anymore, that's where the disconnect is. That's where we're getting ripped off by ESPN. That's when the business becomes shit, if I can quote Michael Wilbon.
I appreciate that analogy. You understand what I'm saying? And I thank you for it sincerely.
And since I'm not ESPN, don't forget to sign up at Underdog with my code ThatsGood. That's how I keep afloat, right? That's the nature of this beast. I appreciate everybody who's already signed up, and if you haven't played yet, make your first play on Underdog.